Hello everybody, Carl Keister here with ClearServe Financial Education. Today I'm going to talk about the 50-30-20 rule, which kind of looks like this. That is 50% goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings or paying down debt. Okay, so let's get started. So how this came about, this 50-30-20 rule, this was something that was made popular by Senator Warren. She wrote a book about this. And I guess if you don't have any budgeting in place and you just want some rough place to start, this might work for you. I'm not a huge advocate of it. I think it's going to vary a little bit. And the reason being is in her book here, she talks about 50% goes towards needs. Now, the needs would actually be your rent or mortgage, utilities, healthcare, and car payments. Things that you have to have, regardless of where you live. This is where you're going to have to pay these things. And then she gets into the 30% bucket, which is the wants. Now, this is shopping, traveling, eating out, hobbies, things that you can do without if you needed to, if you lost your job or your hours were cut back. These are things you could cut back on immediately if you wanted to. The Netflix maybe. And then also 20% is the savings bucket. Now this savings could be 401ks. This could be putting money into an emergency fund or an investment account. Maybe you're purchasing some ETFs, something like that. So that 20% will go into that bucket. Now, obviously, those last two, you can move them around a little bit. I would honestly say that my numbers were not anything like this. When I was in my 20s, I bought my house at 22, and unfortunately, my vehicle died right after I settled on the house, maybe a month or two later. So I had the mortgage, and then I had a car payment I wasn't expecting. But I always made sure all those things were taken care of. So those things I mentioned, utilities, car payment, mortgage, they were all paid on time every month. And then having moved now to 22 years of age and had to buy appliances and some bigger ticket items that I did not have at home, I had some credit card debt. So for me, I put money on the debt. I did not do the 30-50 because I know in her example, people like to live a little bit, and I think 30% is a lot if you've got high interest rate credit cards. So for me, I went and focused on paying down those credit cards. And then once those credit cards were paid off, then I started saving up, making sure my emergency funds were to a point where I was happy, at least 6 months of emergency reserves if I lost my job. And then that's when I started allowing myself to travel a little bit more and do more things where you might be able to spend some more money on, maybe upgrade the car once it was paid off, those kind of things. But again, it just depends. I paid mine off and kept a car for almost 13 years, so that I know that's not typical. But again, for me, I want to be debt-free by 40, and I did accomplish that by paying off the house and being debt-free. So I kind of subscribe a little more to the Dave Ramsey thought. I know some people think that, you should save money, invest money, and don't worry about the debt. But for me, I just wanted to get that all off my plate so that I didn't have to stress about it, and I didn't lose any sleep at all about money once that was all behind me. So I'm not saying that's for everybody. I know especially now today when your smartphone every 7 seconds is a scroll on there telling you how you should spend your money, and you should spend more of your money and all the products you need and all the places you should go because your friends are going there. And so, you should be going out to eat 3 or 4 times a week. I get it, but that's not me. So maybe that is you, but then this might be a good rule for you. You might want to look at this and say, well, if my mortgage or rent and everything else is almost at 50% marker, then maybe you should be looking at a less expensive car, whatever it is to keep you under that number, so you can start saving more towards retirement or putting more money away for emergency reserve, especially during COVID-19, as we've seen recently. People have lost jobs, people have lost hours. So you just never know what's coming. And this time it's a 100-year pandemic, but who knows what's going to happen next year? Nobody does. So just keep that in mind. So again, I have created a course. There is information down below. There's links also off to the right, which will show you I use a spreadsheet to keep track of my budget. This is how I did it years ago, and I still keep a budget today. I understand there's all kinds of free softwares out there, and maybe that works for you, but for me, I just like the idea at the end of the month, I go to my budgeting spreadsheet, pull the bank statements and the credit card statements, everything funnels in that spreadsheet, and I've got categories broken out to keep track of what I want to. So just like I said, whatever works for you, but I do think it is really important to have a budget in place, because nowadays with credit cards, everyone's got 3 or 4 credit cards in their wallet or pocketbook, and we've become a society now you don't even need them. You basically take your iPhone and contactless tap something, and out the door you go with the new phone or product or whatever the case may be. So I think this is a really good idea to at least have some kind of checks and balances for yourself, and that would be have a budget in place there. So anyway, with that being said, I'll leave it there for now. There's a lot of people that go through this, and I go through my course in a lot more detail, and hopefully you take a look at that. And if you know someone that needs help budgeting, have them share this link and like and subscribe. I appreciate it. It always helps me out and helps the algorithm out, so I can get picked up by more people. And ultimately, I want to help more people. That is the purpose of me creating my course, is to help people put themselves in a better financial situation. Let's face it, we're all good at something, and a lot of people may not be good at budgeting and investment. So this is where I can help. So